Alright, back to another album review. Today's review is on Death Magnetic by Metallica. This is a nice studio album by Metallica. Their first album with Robert Trujillo. Their first album since Injustice for All to not have any involvement from Bob Rock. And their first album of theirs where none of the band members were credited as producers. Metallica started writing material for this album in 2006 and decided to go back to their roots, incorporate complex compositions, and bring back guitar solos. They also went back to their thrash metal roots and even incorporated some elements of progressive metal for the first time since Injustice for All. This is a major contrast to Saint Anger, which I talked about in the last review. The album was recorded by Greg Feidelman at 3 different studios between March 14th, 2007 and May 22nd, 2008. Sound City Studios in Los Angeles, Shangri-La Studios in Malibu, and the Metallica HQ in San Rafael. A fun fact, Metallica HQ is the same studio where Saint Anger was recorded. The album was produced by legendary producer Rick Rubin, who I said is one of my all-time favorite music producers. The album was mixed by Greg Feidelman and Andrew Sheps at Sunset Sound Factory in Punker Pad West. Editing was done by Dana Nielsen, Dan Monty, Kent Mack, and Dee Dee Elrich. Assistance was provided by Sarah Lynn Killian, Joshua Smith, Adam Fuller, Jason Gossman, and Jason Mott. Production coordination was handled by Lindsay Chase. The album was released on September 12th, 2008 on Warner Records, though my copy is a reissued version that was released on Black & Recordings. Now let's talk about the songs. The intro to this album is That Was Just Your Life. Just by listening to this song, you can clearly notice that the band returned to their thrash metal roots. This is a major contrast to Saint Anger, which is mostly in the nu metal and alternative metal genres. After that is the end of the line. The lyrics sound like they're about the end of someone's life, hence the title. Next song is Broken, Beat, and Scarred, which was released as a single on April 3rd, 2009. I read that James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich argued over the title, and James didn't like the title. The music video was made, and I'm including a link in the description. Up next is The Day That Never Comes, which was released as a single on August 21st, 2008. The guitars initially sound clean before becoming distorted. The music video was made, and I'm including a link in the description. Next up is All Nightmare Long, which was released as a single on December 15th, 2008. What's interesting is that it was nominated for the Kerrang Award for Best Single in 2009, but lost to Omen by The Prodigy. I'm not upset by that because I like The Prodigy, and I will get around to reviewing their album someday. The music video was made for the song, and I'm including a link in the description. That's followed up by Cyanide, which was released as a single on September 2nd, 2008. One interesting fact about the song is that it was first performed live at Ozfest on August 9th, 2008. We followed up with The Unforgiven 3, which is a sequel to The Unforgiven 2. Who would have thought that The Unforgiven would become a song that would spawn 2 sequels? Also, David Campbell was in charge of the orchestration on the song. What's after that is The Judas Kiss, which was released as a promo single on September 8th, 2008. This is the very first time Metallica performed the song live was at Trent FM Arena in Nottingham, England on February 25th, 2009. That was at the very beginning of the European tour, the European leg of the World Magnetic Tour. More on that later. What comes next is Suicide and Redemption. The song has no lyrics, and the reason why is because it's fully instrumental. The finale of this album is My Apocalypse, which was released as a single on August 26, 2008. The lyrics actually contain the album's title, Death Magnetic, and the lyrics actually contain the album's title, Death Magnetic. The first live performance was in Birmingham on March 25th, 2009 during the World Magnetic Tour. The The song even won the Grammy Award for Best Metal Performance in 2009. One thing I should mention is that the deluxe version has a second disc called Demo Magnetic, which has demo versions of the songs. The demos actually have different titles compared to the finalized versions. As you can see, I just have the regular version and not the deluxe version. In order to promote this album, Metallica went on a world tour called the World Magnetic Tour, which lasted from October 21st, 2008 in Phoenix until November 21st, 2010 in Melbourne. June 10th, 2010 was when Metallica performed at that year's Sonosphere Festival in Warsaw, along with Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth, since all four bands are the big four of the thrash metal genre. 8 days later was when Metallica performed in Johnswil, Switzerland, on the same day as Rise Against, Alice in Chains, Motorhead, Slayer, Anthrax, and more. Personally, I think it's fucking awesome knowing that all those bands performed at the same venue on the same day. When researching this album, I read that it peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200. It even charted at number 1 in dozens of other countries. It was later certified platinum by the RIAA by selling over 2 million copies in the US. When it comes to what the critics said, they mostly gave it positive reviews. In fact, it has a 78 on Metacritic. It's just that Pitchfork gave this album a 4.9 out of 10, which further proves that Pitchfork sucks worse than Rolling Stone when it comes to reviewing music. I mean, Pitchfork seems to bash albums that Rolling Stone praises, even though Rolling Stone sucks almost as bad. One thing that people seem to criticize about this album is that the sound quality was compromised because of compression, which resulted in the music sounding kind of distorted. Now for my thoughts. Personally, I find this album to be a major improvement over Saint Anger, and that's saying a lot considering the criticism that Saint Anger has received over the past 20 years. I am aware that compression had to be done. On the plus side, it still sounds way better than Saint Anger. The fact that Metallica went back to the thrash metal roots makes things even better. I'd argue that it's almost as good as the material that they made in the 80s. Also, this album will be celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. Overall, I highly recommend this album. Now is the part where I question you. Have you listened to Death Magnetic? If so, what do you think about it? What's your favorite song from it? Was it the right decision for Metallica to return to the thrash metal roots? Was Rick Rubin the right producer for this album? How do you feel about the compression that had to be done that was done to the audio? Do you think Metallica will do anything to celebrate this album's 15th anniversary? Well, let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify future videos. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another review.